Okay, so I asked Jujutsu Kaisen fans who they prefer within the series, Yuta Okatsu or Yuji Itadori. Both of these characters are technically main protagonists within Jujutsu Kaisen. And with the recent success of Jujutsu Kaisen 0, it only makes sense that people are looking at Yuta Okatsu, the main character within the movie, and comparing him to Yuji Itadori, the main protagonist of Jujutsu Kaisen. So today we're gonna look at a community post that I made on my YouTube channel, which you're at, and you can subscribe to, by the way, and also drop a like. That would be very helpful. And we're gonna go through the comment section of this community post and just get a feel for what the Jujutsu Kaisen fandom thinks about this hot debate. So this is going to be really interesting and I'm very excited. Let's get into it. So the actual question that I posed in my community tab is this: Jujutsu Kaisen with 2 stars. Which main character from Jujutsu Kaisen do you personally like better, Yuji or Yuta? Both have very different personalities, but their stories are very much parallel of each other. And that really is what the whole premise of this is, with what's going on in Jujutsu Kaisen and how successful Jujutsu Kaisen 0 is, and what's going on in the manga, which I won't spoil for anybody. There's a lot of things that we can look at and compare about these 2 characters and really kind of get down to the nitty gritty of who's better and maybe who is actually the main protagonist. Who knows? Let's see what everybody has to say. First, Valkyrie says, as a manga reader, I actually prefer Yuji more since he is not overpowered and actually struggle most of his fights. So I actually somewhat disagree and agree with what you said here. Technically, both of their beginning fights within the series are at schools with Maki and with Megami, respectively, and they both fight somewhat similar sized and even similar looking curses. So technically the very beginnings of their fights are almost identical, but as the story progresses, Yuji comes across a special grade curse spirit before Yuta even fights Geto, just timeline wise. So just from this comment and just from what I'm thinking of it, at the beginning Yuji had the first big time struggle with coming across the curse spirit, losing his hand, the battle and struggle with Sukuna. So kind of right, and I kind of disagree on this, but I see where you're getting at with it. Play Too Fun says, as a manga reader, Yuji's development is crazy and one of the best protagonists in shonen anime. Yeah, I would definitely say that Yuji has good character progression, especially now with what's going on in the manga, which I won't, spoil anybody. But even within season 1, I say it takes a little bit of time for him to really get some progression. The beginning, yeah, he jumps right into this whole Jujutsu world and it is a big undertaking. But what happens at the end of season 1 is definitely a big moment for his character and him personally that he has to overcome. So there's definitely some progression there for Yuji. I agree with that. Roadrunner Run TD says, echoing what other manga readers are saying, Yuji is my boy. Yuta's still awesome though. Props to Gege giving us 2 premium NCs in a single series. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, that's kind of how I feel and why I even posed the question to begin with. Based off what's going on in the manga and what, we saw from Jujutsu Kaisen 0, and obviously Yuji is the main character of the series, I wanted to get a feel for what people are thinking, and just from what I'm seeing, it is kind of 50-50 right now, which is really interesting. Edward Williams says, Yuji for sure, but my love for Yuta is extremely high as well. Yuji's silliness and extreme sadness and guilt being shown more made me love his character more. Yes, I agree with this. Yuji's emotions are very polarizing. He is a very in-your-face personality type person. He is an extrovert. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. So at, the first initial look into the series and just from an anime fan, it is enjoyable, and I do find myself being gravitated towards liking Yuji more based off the first initial personality. But for me personally, after watching Jujutsu Kaisen 0 and having read the manga of Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 0 and what's going on now, I find myself relating to Yuta more just because it seems a little more personable. He is more shy, reserved, and has some anxiety, which I can relate to, and maybe you can too. But just from relating to a character and using that as my basis on who I prefer more, I relate more to Yuta, but I still struggle with who I enjoy watching more within the series. Random Ream says, I'm gonna be honest, I like both. I like Yuta the most, but Yuji shares his part since he is truly the normal person who struggles in the manga. This, I'm trying to dissect it. I somewhat agree with what you're saying, but I also somewhat disagree. I wouldn't say that Yuji is a normal person, because the whole premise of the beginning of season 1, if you've watched it, is he is abnormal. He's extremely strong and athletic. And he's not normal because he ate a cursed item and has Sukuna within him now. So that is the opposite of normal in my opinion. But I do agree with you. I like both of these characters very much so. So to that point, yes, you're correct. Joshwan the Beast said, Yuta is a fire character, but I like Yuji as the main character, especially in the manga. He really became a dope character and really relatable. Oh yes, I agree with what you said here, because me personally, I relate more to Yuta's story within Jujutsu Kaisen, but I also know, like I said, I'm torn and I like both characters. And I really think it is just dependent upon you, the reader, as in who you like more when reading the story and who you relate to more. But I totally understand where it is easy to gravitate more towards a character that you yourself relate to. And the very last comment that I will read, and just a side note, most of the comments are pretty 50-50 on people saying Yuta and people saying Yuji. So it is kind of torn down the middle. But the last comment by GB, to be honest, I like Yuji and Yuta equally, and I can't decide who's better than the other. And that right there is the whole point of this video. I wanted to kind of reach out to the community and see what you thought on this hot topic about Jujutsu Kaisen. Like we said, these characters are very similar in the main story of both having curses, Rika and Sukuna respectively, but their personalities and who they are as people are extremely different and could not be more opposite. And it is true that technically Yuji is the main character within Jujutsu Kaisen. Most of what I'm saying is just kind of like headcanon discussion with I'm having with myself. It is fun to look at it and see who people like more within the series and who people kind of gravitate more toward. And honestly, even after reading all this and doing this video, I cannot decide myself. So I will let you decide. Down in the comment section right now, tell me who you prefer more, Yuta or Yuji. And also tell me why. That would be extremely helpful. Maybe it'll help me come up with a decision. Who knows? Okay guys, this might be a new series we do where every Monday I will post a hot topic question on my community tab to which you can all comment, and your comment might be read in the video. Drop a like on the video if you like this idea. Let me know down in the comments also if you think this is a good idea. But I'm gonna get out of here. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Peace!